I want to talk about when you get to set. You're on set, in between takes. What are you doing to stay loose, to stay in flow? Are there any specific practices like meditation? You prep going into work and you get your lines down, and to your point, you think, oh, maybe on this line I'll try this, but you want to stay open. So how do you prepare yourself to be like, I'm prepared, I know my lines, I know my block, and I know this, I know that, but when the time comes, I'm just going to let go and whatever happens, happens. How do you mentally allow yourself to get to that place?
Right, because now we have a new level, right? It's like there's the before, there's the during, the after, the in between. There's so many, and it's all different.
Yeah,
sure
all
is.
different. And oh man, it still challenges me, especially as I'm taking on bigger roles and roles that require me to stay maybe at a certain emotional state for 14 hours a day.
Yes,
Yep.
that's exhausting physically.
Very
even.
the latest project I just worked on was probably one of the most challenging in this aspect.
Can we plug it?
Yes, it's called Match. We don't have a release date yet, but there is a trailer dropping maybe sometime soon.
Let's go.
Sweet.
I filmed it in Cape Town. So already there's this foreign aspect of it. I'm being ripped away from what I know. New crew in a new place. I'm the lead of this movie, and it's a horror movie, and it's something that, if you know me at all, you know that I love
She
the
loves her
genre.
horror.
I love my horror movie.
We're gonna get into genre shortly.
And I've always loved this genre. But I also know the responsibility of being a lead in a horror, because you're usually final girl and you're either screaming, sweaty, bloody, running, you're surviving.
Yeah.
And that requires a lot of effort.
Totally.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, I had moments where I really struggled because something happens to the body when you reach a certain emotional state, like crying, let's say. It's very cathartic. The body doesn't know the difference. The body is right there with you. It's not fake for it. We might up here be like, this isn't really happening, but the body is experiencing it as if it is, which is why, sometimes when people shoot certain things, they get affected physically, they get ailments, random things that come up in their body, because our mind is very powerful. And I do believe that our mind and our soul and our system is so united. So we have to take care of ourselves on set, offset, in between. And I had to go to some really dark places for this. And there were times where I could feel my body was so resistant. And so, I
sending
got
you
scared.
signals of
Sending
no,
me
girl,
signals,
don't go there.
I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
I'm exhausted. We already did that.
We've
But I
worked
have
through
to
that.
Yes, it's almost like you are sometimes re-traumatizing yourself in
Yeah.
certain ways. So it's a very, you're walking a really thin line with learning yourself and how you work. And I had to learn a lot about myself when I go into a genre that I love, but at what cost?
Right.
So I remember this one day really specifically. I was already resistant from the first shot.
Yeah.
And it was just a wide, and I know we're gonna have to go to this close up,
Yep.
and that's when I really have to come up. But the first time you do a scene like that, your body is so you're awake. You're like, finally, I get to do this. I've prepped, whatever. And then everything goes, and then it's almost like you reset.
Yeah.
Totally.
And so how do you gently, with patience, with love, ask yourself to go back to a place that is uncomfortable? Oh man, I fought with my thoughts, and I did different things. Music helps a lot. Sometimes I would take a moment to listen to specific songs that I know hit.
Eminem?
To kind of go back.
I was literally just gonna say
Mockingbird?
I was just
Mockingbird.
took it right out of my mouth. Took it right out of my mouth, man.
Very good. No,
Yeah.
but for me, music is very visceral for me.
Yeah.
Like when I listen to music, I get goosebumps, and it
Yeah.
gives me chills, and it's very specific songs. And there's one specific song that I use all of the time,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of my mom. And I think it's just kind of rooted in this place where it reminds me of home and things. And I can always be in a very open, vulnerable state. when
Sound
I
like a
listen
musical
to
theater
it.
gal.
But it's music
Yeah.
for me helps a lot. And then sometimes what I actually need to do is tell my mind that, okay, you don't want to go there, we won't go there. We're not going to go there again. It's almost like psych it out. So I decide to change my environment. I'll have a conversation with crew. I'll go get crafty. I'll talk about anything other than the work, so my mind gets a break. so that I
Ooh,
don't have
love
to
that.
actually stay in it, and I can I remove myself completely. If I'm in the darkness and I'm crying, I try to laugh, make a joke. I try to like move my body, go get sunshine if it's sunny outside.
Yeah.
I try that actually worked for me that day because sometimes I always thought that I had to stay in it and linger on it, even if it's just a little bit. Keep your foot on the gas, even though you're not pushing all the way. I often work with keeping my foot on the gas. This project taught me you can fully get out of the car. You can get out of the car because you know how to get back in.
You got to know when to pedal and when to coast.
And I need to know and trust that I will be able to get back in the car.
Right.
That is the risk. Because what if I completely get out and then I'm like,
Removed.
I can't get
no,
back in. But
Yeah.
I disassociate.
But
you
that's
know?
where the prep, that's where the hours before, that's where
exactly.
you trust
You're like,
yourself.
you know that you can do this.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, that's really great. I know that I can do that, even if it's in a turnaround where you maybe have 10, 15 minutes, sometimes 20 if it was a big setup. Usually I use it then. If it's a quick, like, we're just going tighter, I can't really get out of the car yet. But I can, have a moment of like...
Take a breath.
Like focus on something else, or stay in it. I'll go into a corner and just kind of be quiet. And if someone needs something from me, I'll just go from that place. But it's really interesting. You need to know yourself really well when to do that.
And that's what I was going to say, where you can learn to trust yourself. You can do the thing. I actually don't use the term throw it away, because why would I throw something away that I worked really hard on? But I can trust that it's just going to be there. But that's
maybe we can come up with a new term. It's more about like loosen the grip.
Yeah, and because you've spent a lot of time working on that, not just as an actor, as a human being.
Yeah.
And staying in that space is interesting, because a lot of people think that when actors are working on bigger projects and they're getting paid a lot of money, that it's for knowing the lines and for knowing the tech and all that stuff. It's actually for what you do, not when you're filming, when you are staying in that space, that level of self-awareness and that
It's
prep.
about sustainability, really.
Yes.
It's like, how do you maintain this character within you when you're working really long hours, you have breaks in between? Sometimes, like this one time, I was on set ready to go and it was 7 hours before I got there.
You actually,
So how do you relax, stay in your trailer and chill until they call you? But they could call you at any second. So a part of you is always still on and off.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to sustain your energy and get back, people really struggle in that in between. And, we're in the hurry up and wait game of an industry. So this was just different for me, because the way that it challenged me was like I was already in it. I was in the work and I want to do a good job and I know that I can do it. And so I had thoughts of like, oh, I'm disappointed, or like I would get angry at myself at times, be like, no, or it didn't come out the way I expected it to. And I was like, you started like reverting back to some old habits when I wasn't as experienced. And I would just kind of, I call myself out, and I always do it with love and grace. Like, girl, you got this, you know this. And I always tell myself this, like, even at your worst, you're still really great. Because it just lives within me.
That's
like
huge. That's
sometimes if I'm putting too much effort on something and I'm finding myself being disappointed, I'm doing too much.
Yes.
So I just take a step back. And
when you
kinda,
say that you're doing too much, is it because you can sense that you are trying to overcompensate?
Yes, I'm trying to overcompensate because I'm either exhausted or I'm disappointed that my emotionality is not where maybe 2 takes ago it was, or
Then you start to
I'm
feel
still
insecure
human, and I
about
start to
that.
get a little bit insecure.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, Humberly, like, this is when the humanness comes out, right? It's an imperfect thing because I'm still human and I'm still like being affected by all of this. So you have to cut yourself some slack.
It's so crazy you say that that's when the humanist comes out. I don't want to like spread any rumors, but I
spreading rumors, guys.
Yeah, I'm spreading
here first.
rumors.
Greenlit and
You heard it here
grounded.
first. No, you definitely didn't hear this first. But someone I know was talking to me about how David Fincher worked on his sets. And
the million takes.
the million takes, and the actors would be exhausted. And this is just working on a single page.
Yeah.
And that's when he feels or felt that the actor started to be more human because all of that stuff, all the ego,
goes away.
it just goes away. So it's
Yeah.
interesting that you say that that's when you start to feel the humanness start to really
And
happen.
I'm like, you just have to use yourself. You're here already and you know the material. So another thing I do is, okay, maybe you've exhausted every point of inspiration. What else can you look at, or what angle can you approach so that it feels new and it feels different.
Mm-hmm.
Do something completely different, not too different that it's gonna like mess up everybody, but it's just for me.
Not just a bold and interesting choice for the sake of bold and interesting.
But it's something for me that I'm like, I've always gone from like this angle and this perspective. What if I noticed this before that? Just like little details that might trick my brain again into being like, oh, this is new.
Like surprise yourself.
Surprise myself.
Yeah.
Because our brain is so smart.
Yeah.
It is also our worst enemy.
Yeah.
Especially when it already knows everything. We are creatures of habit and comfort. So when we know the way, it wants to take that same way.
Right.
Because it rendered a good result. You have the, the dopamine hit, like, yes, I did it.
Yeah.
And so how do you stay fresh and how do you change it without really changing it? It's like we're constantly having to trick our brains because this is the only, like, it's the job where you already know what's going to happen before it happens, but you have to make it look like you've been here never.